Shalom to Oded Eran, Senior Research Fellow at the Institute for National Security Studies, former Deputy Chief of the Israeli Embassy in Washington.
Shalom, Yoni.
So is this new situation a game changer?
There has to be a re-evaluation of the situation between the two countries following the victory of Donald Trump. There's no doubt that there is a very important meeting coming up between the Israeli Prime Minister and the new US President. There are several issues on the agenda which will come up. To begin with, the personal relations between the two. There is no secret that the relations with President Obama were deteriorating, and there is a very urgent need to build up the personal relations. On the agenda are, of course, the situation in the Middle East. The new president is supposed to deal with the broken Middle East, a Middle East of instability, of terror, and terror run by ideology, very dangerous ideological trend. And the third issue is the peace process between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and obviously the Iran nuclear program. On the bilateral personal relations, the Prime Minister will want to open this new page with the President, and they have to establish a direct contact with them, how they approach each other, regardless of the relations between the two administrations. On the question of the Middle East situation, this is very important that they reach an understanding, because it implies certain understandings on other issues concerning the peace process with the Palestinians, concerning Iran, and other issues. And so the joint mutual assessment of the situation in the Middle East is a very important basis for many other issues.
Now, we're familiar with all of Trump's pro-Israel statements. Should we expect them all to be implemented?
I think that we have to take the statements before into consideration, but a new president is faced with new realities. What you see from the White House is not necessarily what you saw from your office in New York, and so there is a learning process to be taken before the new president steps in, or while he steps into the White House. So I'm not saying that you have to throw away the statements that were made, but the questions are more complicated when he gets into the White House. On the question of Iran, there could be a very interesting development if he really wants to open the agreement with Iran. He will be supported by certainly the Republicans in Congress, and it's very important to note the Republicans, as we know now, have retained control of the Senate, and so it will be a very important issue, which will also imply certain changes on the assessment. And what we do with the rest of the Middle East is not only the nuclear, but what Iran was exempted from dealing with: the support for terror, the support for Hezbollah, the support for Hamas. All these issues are linked with the agreement on the nuclear issue.
Can the new president cancel the deal with Iran?
He can cancel the U.S. part in it, because there were other states which were party to this agreement, and the question will be what will be the Iranian reaction if indeed the U.S. pulls out or wants to reopen the agreement. The United States may not pull automatically, but it will say, we want to reopen the agreement and negotiations. We left some issues not sufficiently dealt with, on the nuclear issues and on the support for Hezbollah or support for other groups in the Middle East. And so we need to reopen this issue. Question will be, among others, how will Iran deal with this situation?
Sounds like a time with many opportunities.
I think that it opens new old files. It opens a possibility for a profound change of the United States behavior, conduct in the Middle East. It will be very interesting. It also opens maybe possibilities for more closer cooperation with Russia, for example. And so it will certainly not be a dull situation or a dull period.
Oded Eran, INSS, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.